Greetings, the Astro 30 here again, and just a little quick video update on this. I'm interested to find out what is actually wrong with this. I've got a theory. I was thinking about this whilst I was at work today, as you do. Now, I used to be an audio technician and used to service amplifiers, CD players, tape decks, and this is going back to the early 90s. And I never let a problem that looks unsolvable from first impression ever get me. It may have taken me a couple of days to actually fix the problem, but I always got in there and thought, well, okay, I'm obviously missing something here. I'm not actually fault finding it properly. Now, remember yesterday when I said that these rectifier, Xeno diodes here was producing 21 volts. According to this is only 22.5, but okay, that's okay. And this one also 22.5. Now that to me, considering they're 15 volt Xenos and there's 25 plus minus 25 coming in to the circuit here, that's a little bit low. It should be around 30, but I reckon what's happening is these 1K dropping resistors are dropping the voltage down. Now what I think is happening is, I don't think the power amplifier is the cause of the problem here. I think it's the preamplifier. My theory is that the voltage across these two Xenodiodes is actually dropping when you increase the volume and the power amplifier starts drawing current. I reckon that the actual voltage here at the preamp is starting to drop, hence causing early clipping. And of course, the more you turn the volume up, the more current the power amp draws, and the problem just gets worse and cascades from there. So what I want to test is, what is the voltage at these diodes as we crank the volume up. I also cut out a bit of footage yesterday by accident about what you should really do before plugging this into a dummy load or speakers on the first power on test. So I'll play that clip now. What I'm about to do now is what you do with an unknown power amplifier. Like you don't know what state or condition it's in, is we measure each channel's output voltage with respect to earth. So I'll just do that. We have about 30 millivolt on the left channel and 30 millivolt on the right channel. So I know that this is going to be safe to hook up to a speaker. So I was doing a little bit of vigilante editing. I was just like cutting left, right and center because it was getting very long. So without making this too long and having to spend all afternoon on it, because I want to drink myself some beer, is I'm going to get myself set up with a power supply, dummy load, oscilloscope, signal gen, and a multimeter across these two diodes here, where it's the plus 15 and the minus 15, and see what happens to the voltage as I increase the volume. So I've got a multimeter connected across the two Xenodiodes, one cathode, one anode, to measure the voltage rail there. But the function generator set to 1 kilohertz at 350 millivolt, I think it is. I've got the oscilloscope connected across the dummy load there. Doesn't really matter which one it is. It's still set at 25.3 volt on the power supply. Let's turn the load on. And right now we're at 30 milliamp, and if we look at the multimeter, something's interesting. It's actually saying 27.3 instead of 21 or whatever it was yesterday. I'll have to go back through the footage to double check that. I'm pretty sure it said a 1 yesterday, not a 7. According to this is only 22.5, but okay, that's okay. And I was measuring directly at pin 8 and pin 4. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind the volume control up till the onset of clipping. There it goes. drawing about 1.3 amp, and the preamp voltage only dropped to 26, so it's not the preamp doing it. So this is kind of strange. So what I'll do is I'll wind the voltage all the way up to 30. Yeah, now the voltage is dropping back down to 25. Okay, so without spending too much time on this, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the two op-amp ICs. I'm going to connect the input of the function generator, well, across the volume pot, because that's the output of the IC anyway, and pump it directly into the power amp and measure the output of the power amp without the preamp connected. Well, I got the one IC out anyway. Okay, so now I'm connected directly across the volume pot with the signal generator. Now I'm just going to turn the load back on. Still at 30 millivolts. Now I'm going to slowly wind up the volume, watching the oscilloscope. So it's slowly increasing. Still increasing. Yep, and there it goes. It's going into distortion. So, I know it's not the preamp. I reckon it's the power amp. Because now it's into clipping. So, but it doesn't clip as early, because I'm now around about halfway on the pot here and I'm still going, and I'm about 3/4 of a turn and it's just started clipping. So technically it is working as an amplifier, but just not properly. So I think my original conclusion was correct, that it's the voltage on the power amp's not high enough, because I think the minimum that this requires is plus minus 35. That's the minimum you can go, and I'm running at plus minus 25. So that's my conclusion. I'd need to get a transformer to test it. So yeah, at the moment I can't test it any further. I can connect some speakers up to it without the preamp and actually see what it sounds like into some speakers, but other than that I can't go much further. I was trying to log into my laptop using the keyboard at the bottom there. That goes to the main computer, so that's not going to work. So anyway, I've got my laptop hooked up to the left input of the volume pot on the power amp side, well, the preamp side, and one speaker at least, because I don't have enough test leads to hook up the second channel. I need another 4, and I'm using them all right now. Now I don't know if the STK chip has output short circuit protection. I didn't see any on the equivalent schematic in the data sheet, so just to be sure I've got to be careful not to short those leads together. I just need to check before I click on something that I'm free to use it and monetize my video before I get flagged for copyright. Okay, so there's a track there, I don't know what it is, don't really particularly care. So I'll turn the amplifier on. A little bit of a pop there. I can hear a hiss coming out of it, so I know it's working somewhat. Okay, I'll just hit play on the music. It's playing. Can't hear anything yet. Now we can. Probably sound better in stereo. that is working somewhat. Let me just put the preamplifier chip back in, and I'll do another test through the preamplifier. I've just got to remember to keep the volume on the input very low and the volume pot down very low, because I want to actually see what the bass and treble controls do. Right, so I'm looking around the desk here for my spectacles, my reading glasses, and I cannot for the life of me find them. They seem to have vanished. I know I put them here yesterday, but they seem to have gone. They should have been over here somewhere, but they're not. I don't know where they are. They just seem to have buggered off somewhere. I can't see them, can you? They're not on this desk here anywhere that I can see. The power supply hasn't eaten it or anything. They're not up there. Oops, tripped over the tripod. They're not over there. There's a lot of crap in this room. They're not here, as far as I can tell. Well, at least they shouldn't be. They're not behind the laptop. They're not up there on the shelf. I can't remember what I did with them. They just seem to have pissed off. Well, this is perplexing and annoying at the same time, because well, all I've done so far and achieved is to test the amplifier and only consume not even one beer yet. I'll keep looking and see if I can find them, because I want to put them on before I pop the IC in to make sure I'm getting the pins straight, but I can't find the bloody things. Aha! Can you see what I can see? Aha! There you are, hiding in my camera case. I stuck them there yesterday so I didn't actually have it in direct sunlight and wasn't going to set the place on fire, because yeah, I had an experience with that magnifying glass setting the carpet on fire, almost. Right, after all that, that's all I wanted them for. Now, before I lose them again, I'll stick them somewhere down here. Now that the preamp chip's back in, I'm going to move this input wire back to this capacitor. It just stays on there. I'm going to leave the ground where it is. It should be fine. Turn the amplifier back on. Make sure the volume's down. Alright, now I'm going to reduce the volume on the laptop to 50%. I'm going to replay that track. Okay. Now this is the treble. Not much seems to happen after halfway to minimum. Well, I can't hear it anyway. So now the bass. Yeah, the bass is cutting. That seems to be working okay. The balance control, that's not going to do much. Except cut one channel. But it sounds okay. Except my left ear is lonely. These things start getting even warm. We're drawing around about 60 MA. about almost 3/4. Well, it's not making any weird noises into the speaker, so. Kind of a boring song. Okay, that's enough of that, that's annoying. Okay, now the other issue that I thought about that could be causing the problem is because of where I've connected the 0-volt rail. I've connected it all the way over here in circuit, instead of connecting it in between these filter capacitors where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, it's got to travel all the way back along, back down to there. Could be. So I might be causing a earth loop or something similar. And by the way, those two 2-watt 1K resistors that go to a couple of pins on the IC, main IC, through a capacitor, I looked at the data sheet. That's actually for the muting circuit, which really in this instance doesn't work because you did hear a pop come out the speaker. Anyway, that's it for this video. I've tested it, it does work. I need at least a 025 025 transformer or a 28 028 so I have one, at least a 4 amp transformer, so I have one, the correct voltage and enough current capability, and I'd probably have to upgrade the bridge rectifier, the full bridge rectifier away, no, to 3 amp diodes or something, because yeah, it's underrated. The bass and treble controls, yeah, I'm not liking them. They're not working until almost their full rotation before you actually get any difference in the sound. Could also be the speaker too, but I've proven that it does actually work into a speaker load. It just doesn't test very well into an oscilloscope via a dummy load. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See ya. I'm the Astro 30, and as always, if you like this video, please remember to rate, comment and subscribe below, and you can always follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are in the description as usual. Anyways, this is the Astro 30 saying, see ya, have a great day, and I'm not your Darlington.